Hapa ndio Emali. Ligiji amefika hapa. Na niko na maneno na nyinyi. Ate niko na nini? Muko tayari kwa maneno? Emali oye! Mimi ni mtu ya kusikiza ground. Nimekuja kusikiza ground ya Emali. Emali mnasemaje? Emali mnasemaje? Ati Emali mnasemaje? Ni WANTAM. Ni WANTAM. Harambee. Wewe Kasongo. Wewe Kaongo. Wewe mwizi. Wewe mtu ya kutanga. Wewe arapu mashamba. Wewe mtu ya kuzaliwa kamba. Kasongo aende asiende. Kasongo aende asiende. Wangapi wanasema Kasongo aende, Kasongo aende, Kasongo. Emali mumeamua hamjaamua? Mumeamua.
Ladies and gentlemen, the opposition alliance or the united opposition led by the DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua and Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka today pitched tent in Makueni. And the video that I've just played for you is from Emali. And you can see how the crowd was charged. Rigathi Gachagua was also charged. But that is the real situation on the ground. People of Kenya want change. People of Kenya are ready to exercise their democratic right to bring that change. But the challenge is time. The time is running too late for Kenyans to exercise their democratic right. They want to do overhaul in the current administration. But now the problem which Kenyans have is the person to lead that movement. Looking at the leaders who have offered themselves to lead this movement, none of them qualifies except one, Fred Okengo Matiang'i. But Matiang'i at the moment is still doing consultation, and he is consulting largely and widely. But the two front runners, Kalonzo and Rigathi Gachagua, does not depict the real change which Kenyans may want, because they are folks whom we know and we understand where they come from and where they are going. But that one aside, let's talk about William Ruto with 2027. If you talk about William Ruto and 2027, then you look at the context. The context here is election. And during election, we must have competitors. But who is so qualified to challenge William Ruto? To my own observation, currently we don't have. But the main challenge that William Ruto have is that his main opposition are the people. William Ruto does not have any person in the current political arrangement who can challenge him on the ballot. But the people of Kenya are his main opponent, because people want him out of the office. People want to cast their vote because they want change. They must be ready to have a person who will represent them on the ballot. And that is the big question, and that is the challenge Kenyans have against William Ruto. Let's take, for instance, for the last 20 years, let's be realistic on this. Elections have been easy to some people. because Raila Odinga has constantly been running against Kalenjins and Kikuyus. When he tried his luck for the first time in 1997, he ran against Moi. After that, in 2002, he supported Kibaki. But after that, he ran against Kibaki, against Uhuru twice, and again against Ruto, who is a Kalenjin. But on those all occasions, he lost election to the incumbents. And also to the last election, he lost to the first timer, William Ruto, who is a Kalenjin. Now, it is the first time in 20 years that we are going into election without Raila Odinga on the ballot. This is a very, very interesting contest because Raila Odinga has been the main opponent to most of the frontrunners. He was the main opponent of Kibaki in 2007. He was the main opponent of Uhuru in 2013. He was the main opponent of Uhuru in 2017. And again, he was the main opponent of William Ruto against in 2022. But if you look at the voting pattern, it remained the same. It only changed once in 2007 when the Kalenjin voted for Raila Odinga. But after that, Kalenjins have not voted for Raila Odinga. Kikuyus have never voted for Raila Odinga in their numbers. The best they did was in the last general election, which they gave Raila Odinga more than 1 million votes. So they tried on that. But this is the first time William Ruto is going to an election without a Raila Odinga opponent. So it is a very interesting race because look at the arrangement now. I can't narrate Fred Matiang'i. If Matiang'i is given enough support, enough machinery which is required for one to run a well-oiled presidential campaign, he can give William Ruto a run of his money. But looking at Gachagua, no. Looking at Kalonzo, no. Looking at Eugene, I don't see. Looking at Martha Karua, I don't see the potential to challenge William Ruto on the ballot. Now, the main opponent that William Ruto have now, which he must work to correct, are Kenyans. Kenyans are going to run this election against William Ruto. So whoever will play his cards very well might get the blessings of the people. But it will depend how William Ruto will behave between now and 2027. But you know what? I can see he is trying to apply the same method, but in different way. You remember, during 2018 to 2022, William Ruto came up with a certain strategy to do harambes in churches almost every Sunday. But now, since the churches have turned their back against the president, now the president have decided to go direct to the people without going through any entity. He used church as an entity to reach the people and to show his generosity. But now, since the churches have learned about this tactic and churches have said that no, it can't happen the same way, you said you promised Kenyans a lot, but it's like we are being blamed for supporting you, and the blame and the problems of Kenyans now lie fairly and squarely on us. Now, William Ruto has now gone out of church, and nowadays you don't see those harambes as often as they used to be. Even if he does one, maybe once in a blue moon, but he have now ensured that these tactics has changed now to the people. Today, he had 2 economic empowerment programs. One was in Crusade, which was led by John Mbadi, CS for Treasury, and was in Gishu, Governor koti moja. And during that, the host was Kapseret Member of Parliament, Oscar Sudi, among other leaders who attended. But then there's another one in Machakos today, Machakos County, led by Professor Kithure Kindiki, Deputy President, and majority in the National Assembly, Kimani Chungwa, and majority in the Senate, Aaron Cheriot. So, if you count the number of economic empowerment programs that has been attended by Professor Kithure Kindiki and the bandwagon, you wonder where this money is coming from. You wonder why children can lack examination money and there is enough money to run all these economic empowerment programs in form of haramis. Let me ask you a question. Even if it is an harambe, can it be the same people every time? What is their net worth? How rich are they to manage to do fundraising every day? Or not to be kind to them, let's say maybe 3 times a week. You contribute 200,000, 500,000, 150,000? No, it can't be. There is something which Kenyans doesn't know, and these people know. And we know the tactics of the president. You know, the last time when he was the deputy president, it was said that the currency were changed to punish him and to block him from carrying on these harambes because it was believed it was a form of money laundering, or kwa lugha ya mtaa, wash. So the government decided to change all the currencies to block the money that William Ruto had outside, therefore to reorganize the economy. But that didn't stop him. He continued with that exercise. So, can this also be referred to as the wash? Because the same person whom we were trying to cut his movement into size is the one wheeling the economic wheels of this country, carrying the economy of our nation. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot to be questioned. There are a lot to be talked about before and during 2027 general election. So keep it at MJR TV for more updates. Thank you, and may God bless you.